we cut through there, we braced that onto the mat, okay? Shoulder to shoulder, okay? And then roll into it, okay? So, first step here is a good arm drag, and for this especially, I'm going to want to have a low grip, okay, and I'm going to want to have a high grip. And you want that for a normal arm drag no matter what, because it makes it a lot easier to drag. If both hands are too high, okay, we can fight back and forth in this re-drag position. If they're both too low, I have to pull them way over here to get where I want to be going. So in this instance, I'm going to go one low, one high, okay? And just like we normally would, we're going to try and bring the shoulders in. The difference here is that I'm not going to be disengaging one of my hooks to try and go around back. I'm going to be dragging down and almost like I'm trying to put his hand on the mat, and keep your grips here. So real high, almost like I'm trying to go inside arm up into his armpit and catch right there on the tricep. The other hand is on his wrist, okay? Almost putting it down in between my legs on the mat, okay? Pull them into your shoulder and then proceed to do your butterfly sweep, okay? So I go this way. So I'm gonna come over to the side, not straight back. If I go straight back, okay, I'll get tired, okay? As I drag, I'm gonna go to the side and flip them over, okay? And you should end up right into mount. Okay, so again, catch through, one low, one high, roll sideways and use your butterflies. Now sometimes you can get a little bit more, fancy with it. You might have been halfway into the drag over here, so going sideways is going to be a little bit harder. So you can roll back, but this is one of those situations where you're 90 degrees to the guy when you try it, okay? So if you are going to go straight over backwards, again, make sure you've pulled him 90 degrees. You've kept this down there and this here, and really use that arm to go backward. In general, you'll find it's a lot easier going sideways though. Let's now work from that arm drag butterfly sweep right into a really nasty bent arm lock. And the key to this is two things. Number one, keep your grips, okay? You're gonna go one low on the wrist and one high up near the tricep, and you're gonna bring them in tight to your arm. And when you roll over, you're gonna keep those grips in that position because it makes it very easy to finish, as you'll see. So again, good wrist grab right there. Drag it down so that I can catch the second part of my arm drag and then drag the upper part in so that shoulders are touching, okay? Now I'm gonna rotate them over through with the butterfly and just torque them through almost like I'm doing a seonagi with the arm, okay? So we come through here, flip them over, and you'll see I still have my grips, okay? One grip is underhooking his arm, the other is still on his wrist. Okay, I don't want to leave this floating because you'll notice he has a lot of bend. So he's already up on his side. I'm going to put my shoulder into his and drive it down and drive his wrist down, okay? So I'm collapsing that distance, and now he doesn't have a lot of room to move around. So normally my head comes down so that I have a good post, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to use this underhook right here to just roll and lift. And it's usually a pretty quick tap. It's attacking the shoulder. So I'm going to roll into the shoulder and lift. Don't get to the point where you're going like this, okay? If you're going like this, then you're not putting your shoulder into his. Okay, I pushed his wrist down, I've caught under, and I've put my shoulder on that shoulder, okay? So I've isolated everything up and I've collapsed everything down. So now I'm not torquing my own arm. Head on the mat, and you just turn and pull up. If I'm way out here, you'll notice he's got all this bend and it's not gonna work at all. Because now his shoulder can rotate through. He has range of motion in his shoulder. No range of motion in his shoulder, okay? But even here, this is like a arm wrestling match. You know, you still have to pull it up there. So you really want to put that down in there and push into his shoulder and then use your body, okay? Much, much easier. So there's a little bit of pull, but it's because my whole body is going like this. So one more time through. Okay, so let's go ahead and really dial in on that arm lock that we're doing off the arm drag butterfly sweep in detail in more of a no-gi situation so you can see what's going on with the arms a little bit better. So again, I'm here in my normal butterfly position, catch a hold of the wrist, catch a hold up onto the tricep, okay? Straighten this out, try and almost touch it to the mat so you get a nice straight arm and more control. Pull him in nice and tight, shoulder to shoulder. Okay? If he's way out here, this is going to be much more difficult. Shoulder to shoulder. It's also going to make finishing the arm lock much, much easier. Keep your grips as you're going through. Okay? Roll sideways, lift, pull. Okay? As I come through, you'll notice, again, I've kept my grip in the same exact position it was. We haven't changed at all. Since I came through with my shoulder to shoulder position right there, you can kind of see they're touching, okay? What that's done is that's locked his shoulder into the mat, so his range of motion is less. So if he's got this, he can move this around a little bit, but he can't really wiggle the shoulder too much, he can rotate. So I've started to limit his range of motion. And when I nail his wrist to the ground, now he's stuck. So he has no range of motion whatsoever, and any attacks to his shoulders are pretty much gonna start attacking the finer muscles of the shoulder pretty quickly, okay? So the other thing to remember from here is this isn't an arm curl motion. I'm keeping that there as a lever and I'm using my whole body weight to just turn into it, okay? Keep it nice and tight. If you need to, you can bring it up here like this and rotate in. And you'll feel this part move more than anything because that shoulder is trying to rotate this way to take the pressure off of it. You're basically pushing this up that way. But because I'm blocking that part of it, the joint is just gonna pop right out, okay? So again, we cut through there, we braced that onto the mat, okay? Shoulder to shoulder, okay? And then roll into it, okay? That's about it, okay? The more space you have between there, the easier it's gonna be for him to get out of this, okay? See how he's got play in his shoulder now and he can wiggle out of it? Okay, even if I get him up here and I start doing this, right? Because I'm not pushing him to the mat. He's on the mat, wrist on the mat, rotate just a tiny little bit, and this kind of works like a bar pushing it that way, less than going like this. Okay, let's try that again. Now, you'll be tempted to want to start doing this, but then he's just rotating through and then he can straighten out and start attacking back. So don't get caught in trying to turn this into a hammer lock, okay? If he starts bending this way, keep your grips, bring it in tight, and then just bring him back down to the mat, okay? If you need to, post on your head and then position your elbow wherever it feels comfortable. You don't want it too far out in front of you when you start, attacking your own elbow joint, okay? Get it to where it's nice and in tight against your side. Your shoulder's on his shoulder, his wrist is pushing down, and then you just rotate up, okay? Worst case scenario, okay? You get it right about here and you're putting a lot of weight on it, but he starts doing this, okay? Push that down. So he starts trying to reach up. Okay, okay? One more time. Okay, catch, catch, drag into you. Roll sideways, use the butterfly. And post back over. Big pressure on that shoulder. And then just roll into it.